editing my favorite images from this past year. And we're going to be doing it all inside Capture One. Capture One is running an incredible Black Friday sale right now. So if you're interested, hop on over to the link in the description to learn a little bit more. And also pretty much every image you're gonna see is either from a full video on the channel or it's maybe integrated into a video. So this is going back to Japan when we were there last, actually December. And this is part of the Japan Sony A7R-V video. And you might notice that I shoot a lot of cameras on the channel. And throughout, I think there's 44 images here, or 40 images. Throughout the 40 images, I'm gonna say there's 10 to 15 different cameras. The ones at the bottom here from last week at Canada Photo Summit. These are from the Nikon ZF, a Sony A6700, Fujifilm GFX2, Sony RX1R Mark II, Sony A7R Mark V. I think this is a Fuji X100V, Nikon Z8, Nikon Z8, Nikon Z8. There's a lot of cameras in here. And the biggest differentiator for me with Capture One is the import profiles. You'll notice this specifically with some of the Leica images, like some that are from the Q2 and this is from the M10. And when it imports it, the image feels so much better than competitor products. This is because Capture One have people that actually fine tune this profile. Import wise, it makes my life so happy to see my work and immediately be happy with it, rather than my first thought being like, oh, I gotta adjust something real quick. Other things that differentiate Capture One, tethering. If you're gonna be tethering in a studio, this is the tool to go for. Don't even really look at anything else. It's an incredible tool for tethering, doing commercial shoots. For wedding photographers, also Snap to Eye is very nice, as well as the new AI masking. So you can do AI selections on elements within your photo and make adjustments, say just on the background or just on certain pieces of clothing. Also, one of my other favorite things is that you can layer styles. So you can have, if you have the built-in styles here and you want to layer a few things, you want to add, maybe start it off with Cinema Warm, but then you want to use one of the grain profiles and you want to maybe change up the curves, you're able to do that and it just layers it out. And it's really nice because you can just go in and remove a layer and you don't have to go back and redo things. And it's just a little less confusing overall. So here we are. This is my general style here that I have built and it's a little bit cool. So there we go. Pretty much done. You know what? Let's not even use my look today. Let's go in, let's use Cinema Warm for a lot of things. So I'm going to begin with that as the profile and adjust based on that, and something like that I'm pretty happy with immediately. So this is from just our walk around in Tokyo. Next up, this is from Shibuya Crossing. You might recognize it from everything. I like my images warmer, so that might not be for you. It's also why I guess maybe I overcooked it a bit there. But life looks better in a sunset, right? Highlights a bit, and to do a little before and after. The import profile looks pretty nice, to be honest. It's a little bit cool. I was shooting at this point. It was just later in the day, kind of blue hour, but an image like that I'm happy with. You can also go the polar opposite direction of warm, and you can come over here into Cinema Cool, and you can go for that Tokyo Blade Runner style effect where everything is just super cold. And then you have a completely different look that still works. If you did the entire set of images like that, that's fine, but I prefer a little bit more warmth like that. The other thing you can do is if you do have a number of different images, say images like this that are all pretty similar, that maybe you took 15 or 20 of them in the same lighting and with the same look, you can actually arrange things by grouping so that you can just quickly go through, and once you get the image that you want from that set, you can also set the parameters. So if you want it to be 100% or 90% match and make it really strict so that it's really only including the same images in that group, that's fine. Or you can make it a little bit looser, and you can allow it to include maybe the entire section that we shot right here on this street, or maybe in Shibuya Crossing there. All right, pretty happy with that image. Next, into another blue hour image, style. I'll click through a few of them here. I feel like that looks great to me. It's an evening shot, so I feel like the cool tones are there. So to accentuate the cool tones, I'm happy with. So as it arrived, that's what it looked like. And now just that little bit extra, but honestly, I'm very, very happy with it just as the import profile with no other adjustments at all. All right, next up, Family Mart. You'll recognize this from, if you watch the video, I believe it's called Amazon's Worst Rated Camera. And we photographed 100 convenience stores in Tokyo. Early morning, I'm gonna go with Cinema Warm. I like that. I'm not really gonna do a whole lot to that. I could crop down a little bit and just kind of frame it right there, but I am fine to leave it as it is. But yeah, you can go watch that full length video. 100 convenience stores we photographed over in Tokyo and also in Sapporo. All right, moving from Japan into New York City. Photograph of Lindsay. We go to New York for, I would say, most Christmases. And this year, we're going to be seeing Mariah Carey, which I think is pretty exciting. And maybe somewhere around there is pretty good for me. I'm pretty happy with that image. Moving on. Here's one that needs a little bit of work. I like what's going on in the center here, but as soon as I would have stopped and taken the picture, he would have saw me. It was like the three of us and that was it. So he would have looked at me, he would have stopped moving his olives here, and it would have been a bit of a bummer. So we've got a little bit of work to do. What I want to do is I want to make this look as perfectly symmetrical as I can, even though I shot it from the side a little bit, so I'm going to need to do a little perspective adjustment, as well as the regular things like the colors and everything that I would do as well. So let's begin. I like what's going on in this bottom corner, bottom left there. I don't know, maybe we start it there. And then let's click the auto button. Let's see how close the auto gets us. I would say it's pretty darn good. That is pretty much exactly what I wanted. So maybe now let's crop in a little bit more on it. And darn, I'm enjoying that. Do we go cool? Do we do warm? I think we do cool. There we go. I could even bring this crop in a little bit more, maybe crop this out entirely. So color-wise, the before, the after, before, and before the crop, it looked like a completely different image. And I am happy with this. Although he does look a little zoned out. Maybe that's what I want. That's what I'm going for. All right, this is probably my favorite image from the trip. And we're in Marrakech now, by the way. This was for, I honestly don't remember. I think we did a Sony A7 IV with the 35mm lens video. It's like 30 minutes, 40 minutes long. And it's all just photography, more so street photography around Marrakech. Cinema warm. Both these look good. I'm really digging the cinema cool, I think. So, as you can see, a little bit of hot spot back here. I might want to mitigate that a little bit. I'm going to try just with highlights first. And I think that balanced the image well. I'm pretty happy with that, to be honest. So we can move on. Yeah, probably favorite image from the trip. Tim was, I think, getting into the bread making oven down to my right, and he was just having a seat right there. The day is pretty much over. We came in at the very end of the baking day, and I think he's just off for the day, just chilling. And yeah, happy with that image. So here's one. This is from the Leica M10R, I think. And all of my images that I took on this day, for the video, I only used the black and white JPEGs. So I'm going to emulate that because that feels true to what I did. The reason I like this image, you'll see once we get into black and white, and it's because of just the extreme contrast that we get. We'll crop in a little bit. Something like that looks pretty darn good to me. I don't know. I don't know why technically it stands out to me. Maybe you look at it and you're like, that's the worst composed image I've ever seen. I don't know. I kind of like it. And now we're gonna go into the next one, and I'm gonna put it in black and white again. And this is the image that I used for the thumbnail of this video. I liked it a lot. This is so this was Lindsay's wedding, and it was something completely different from how I would usually shoot. I've never shot a wedding on, I shot pieces of weddings on Leica equipment before, but if you watch any of the behind the scenes videos, you know that I work pretty darn fast. So it just doesn't really, I guess, keep up with my laziness of autofocus and autofocus. But taking the time and zone focusing, I feel like it was a pretty nice day. And I feel like I learned a little bit. So that's kind of nice. I don't know. I think that image is done. We're back in Canada, by the way. Now we're jumping back to Morocco. Must have been from a different camera than this here. This was the next day. So we did this, and then we did this the next day. And I'm gonna go straight to this Cinema Cool. Darn, that looks nice, right? I'm happy with that. Nothing much else that I would do to it. And I would say that that's kind of what's going on for most of these images, that I really don't have to do a whole lot. Now, we're in Mexico. It's January. January is nice, right? And I'm gonna come right here to Cinema Cool because I feel like that's the one that's going to work. There's a little bit of barrel distortion. You can correct that if you want, but I kind of like to leave some distortion when things start looking too perfect. Maybe they look a little bit too AI generated, and yeah, I'm pretty happy with that. Flying into Mexico City. This was an image that looked really, really cool. So this is the volcano out here, or maybe multiple volcanoes. Sorry, I don't know my Mexico City geography. And I like this image a lot. I didn't know if it was going to work at all. I feel like this is one of those images that you see in real life, you're like, that's gonna make an amazing photo. And then you take the photo and you're like, maybe it's not. So maybe come down here into dehaze and just see if it does anything. You know what? That's a favorite image for my brain, that flight into Mexico City. That one gets a delete. Move to trash. Sorry, Mexico City arrival. We got another one though. And again, cinema cool. Really enjoying it. I'm going to do a little rotation here, I think. The import looks good. I'm definitely on a shade white balance profile that's maybe a little bit too hot. Then also there's a little bit of smog and just kind of haze in the sky. Again, that import profile, really making things look nice, but just a little bit extra. And then maybe cool it down a little bit. So like that's what it looks like in real life. But then if you've only watched Mexico in movies, that's what it looks like probably in your brain. Cabo, Mexico, destination wedding. Cinema cool, immediately. And I'm going to add just a little bit of exposure. And that's it. Happy with that image. Destination wedding, check, done. Oh, we're not done yet. Back to cinema cool. And I might bring down the highlights just a little bit. And that's all. Now moving across the pond, I guess, to, yeah, that makes sense. To Brighton, UK. I was there for a conference that Lisa Devlin runs called Photography Farm. Thrive is a conference by Photography Farm by Lisa Devlin. And we basically, the first day you sit in the theater and you talk. And the next day we all went out and did shoots. And I'm just gonna click the auto button and that did exactly what I wanted. I'm gonna crop a little bit in the side here. There we go. That's what I wanted from the image. And cinema cool, coming through again. This is the official Brighton. This is the Brighton Pier. And this was from my, what was it? Leica Q2. So this is from my Leica Q2. And one thing I will say, import profiles for, specifically I would say for Fuji cameras and for Leica cameras, Capture One does such a better job. And I only saw this image, I shoot my Q2 in black and white. I think I'm gonna do black and white punch and I'm gonna bring it down a little bit. I feel like this is the way that I saw it in my camera and I'm pretty happy with that image from Brighton. Now we're in Glasgow. So that conference starts in Brighton and then we went to Glasgow. And this one I shot in color and this would have been on my, I'm gonna say a Sony A7R Mark V, maybe A7 IV. Yeah, makes it a little more cohesive. This would also work really well in black and white. I don't think I even thought of that. Oh, that looks way better in black and white. And I kind of like the cinema cool. And yeah, I think that's the image for me. A little cool tone, black and white. Now we're in Iceland. Black and white works. I think cinema cool is where I'm going to leave it though. We got those nice Icelandic greens and that image is done. Alex and Kinsey, this was the day that they got engaged. So there's a video about our Iceland workshop and they were just modeling. I brought the ring because Alex is one of my best friends from when we used to work at Outback Steakhouse. And I brought the ring and I had to carry it through customs and everything. And then this day I gave it to him in the morning. After this location, I think we went to one more location and he actually proposed on this day. So now they're getting married. Probably not in Iceland, but at least they have wedding pictures in Iceland if they ever choose to use them. And this workshop was co-hosted with Cole Roberts from way up north. And way up north will be a place that I'm going. It may or may not be sold out, it's pretty close. But they will be in Florence, Italy for their conference coming up in May. And Lindsay and myself will be there. That looks good. I think this is one of those images that's just kind of like, I am black and white image. Please don't disobey me and try to make me color. Oh yeah, that's nice. I like that a lot. Could bring in maybe some of the highlights in the background there. Somewhere like that feels really nice to me. So yeah, first time I processed that, it was in color. Black and white was the correct way to go. Well, let's see. We'll start with black and white this time. No cool tone, just regular black and white. That looks great. Cinema cool also looks good. You get to choose what you like best. I think that that's what I like there. That's nice. Still in Iceland. Black and white looks incredible. Black and white actually cleans up the scene a lot. So in my mind, this is what I wanted, but the sky is kind of, there's nothing really going on. So it kind of frames the scene, but not really. So I think this is black and white, but I'm going to get rid of the cinema cool. So it's basically was just carrying forward the cool tone and overriding everything else. And yeah, I dig that. Another image that looks really good in black and white, but I'm gonna do this one in color. I'm also going to crop in just a little bit on this side to, well, I guess let's see if I can. There we go. So I wanna make this a little more, do we center compose the lighthouse? I like to keep the road in there. Going to rotate this just a little bit. And then I'm pretty happy. If you want to get a little bit more advanced, you can clean up some of these signs. Maybe this here could go, maybe this could go, to make it a little bit of a simpler image. You can then second guess yourself for a while if black and white looked better, which it might have. You can also set these shortcuts here. All right, now Cinema Cool is Command 4. So I can just hit that rather than coming into the menu to select it. We're going black and white soft. Thinking too much. I think I'm gonna leave that one, I'm gonna come back later. All right. Cinema Cool with the keyboard shortcut. And I'm basically going to bring the sky to about there, and then I'm going to amp up my shadows. So I'm pretty much just kind of like exposing or using exposure to get the overall image for the scene, and then coming with shadows to brighten up my subject. And as you can see, it just did a really, really incredible job. You can warm it up a bit. It was a sunset. It probably looked more like that in real life, but having the cloud detail is also really nice. So you can choose where you like it, but I'm gonna say I like it right about there. And I'll show you quickly so what I was talking about with smart adjustments. So if I wanna set this as the reference image for white balance and exposure, and then I go to the next image here and I can click apply, and it's going to get me pretty close to the white balance and the exposure of this last scene. Had this been more images exactly like this, it would do a pretty much entirely accurate job. Now we're moving into the Nikon Z9 and Cinema Cool. Through the preset there, and I don't know, something like that I'm just pretty happy with. Straight out of camera, this was the 85 1.2, and that lens is just absolutely incredible. There we go. Maybe a little more. When I take these pictures, this full wedding day is also on YouTube. I'm talking to them and taking pictures. So I'm also usually walking either with them or backwards away from them. So I tend to roll a little bit, but yeah. And really happy with this import profile. Also, if you come in here, you'll get to see that everything that you have access to in your Nikon camera, I think all of the picture profiles, you have the ability to just change them. And same with Fuji images as well. You can come up here and you can basically switch your color profile. So classic negative is where I began. It honestly looks pretty nice. So maybe I'll just do that, to be honest. We've re-edited that image. All right, back down here. Pretty happy with that. Maybe the greens are too intense for you. If they are, cool them down. Fisheye photography in Tokyo. Back in Japan, and this time I decided to do a quarter of a day only shooting with a fisheye. So if I wanted to, I could edit from the picture styles in the Nikon camera, or I can keep things consistent with everything else I got going on and do a little something like that. I don't know. I never really know how to compose fisheye images unless they're of a very specific single subject, but that's the edit. Here we go, Fuji image. Again, if you're interested in doing the classic chrome, or maybe you want to do the Fuji monochrome, which looks really nice, or pro neg, you know what, that looks nice. Marshall and I went to a soccer game in Sapporo for some reason. It was available, and we were like, we should go and do that. Back in Tokyo, I think this is so I'm shooting through glass, so that's the downside. So I can take the dropper tool and I can kind of be like, is this I feel like that's the right white balance. I feel like that's pretty nice. And it's not the most well-composed image, so maybe we'll rotate it a bit. There we go. This is in Shibuya. This is the Prince Hotel. We're staying in the Blue Star, and maybe that's fine. Maybe I'll come over here. I don't know, pretty happy with that. I think I have 2 more images from Japan like that, but that I like a little bit better. This is of a puffin. I just wanted to show you guys a puffin. It's from the Samyang 35 to 150 video. You can go watch that thing in entirety. We go to the little puffin colony on Westman Islands in Iceland. It's a nice time. I also took this photo. I thought this was, the joke has been that Manny Ortiz, or I live there, because we're the most introverted people that I could kind of think of when I was making the joke. Here we are into Kando. This is Sony Kando. This is Sydney. And what are we gonna do here? Oh yeah, that looks nice. I'm gonna send this to him. I don't think I sent him any of these images, and they're pretty nice. Oh yeah, we're at the top of a mountain right now. This is with the Sony RX1R Mark II. Magic now has that camera. I gave it to him, or I had Tim bring it to him, and now Magic is the proud owner. Magic, I would say, is the original champion of that camera, at least in my friend circle, so it's fine. I miss it a bit, but I know he's gonna be happier with it overall. This is the Fujifilm GFX 102. And again, you can change up your colors if you want. Provia, I don't know. I'm pretty happy with the black and white that it was shot in. I like that a lot. And GFX gives you incredible detail. Like that lighthouse, you can see everything in it. It's crazy. Next image. This one gets completely lost in the trees there. So this is from the Sony a6700 and the 11mm that I'm actually filming this on. And we've already set the cinema cool style. Let's see if I can do anything. This was the one that I was, you know what? So I had a mist filter on there as well. And I shot it, at 2.8. So I stopped down a little bit. I kind of knew that I was gonna get some weird CA up here. But I think that's okay overall. If I was actually using this for my portfolio, which I probably won't be, I would be tilting everything, correcting the entire frame so that these trees stand up a little bit more straight rather than just like kind of, I don't know, facing off into the distance. But yeah, I'm surprised that came out. Here we have Eric Floberg. This is from our conference, not a conference. We got 3 images left, and then I'll let you go. This was from the Nikon ZF, and I originally shot it in monochrome right here. And I like that. Cinema Cool is giving me that little blue tone. Now we're back to just straight monochrome. It's a nice little photo of Eric. I might take a brush and kind of cool down this area if this was something that I was going to be displaying. Photo of John Branch up on stage. Jacob's down here doing a little video. It's nice. And if you want to come to Canada Photo Summit next year, you can. We have tickets available. A few left. I'm going to say there's less than 20 available right now, and it's not until April. So that event will 100% sell out. Come hang out with us. Sam's gonna be there. Let's end this video on Sam. This was the same that I shot everything in black and white all day. And I could use the black and white soft, which is a typical go-to. But because I have the profiles available, I'm going to go, sorry Sam, I did you no favors with this lighting. There are some harsh pot lights. It looked really nice in camera, and then I took the picture. We're gonna go back to this photo of Eric. We'll end it on the photo of Eric Floberg. We'll crop it in a little bit on the side here. That looks pretty nice. Thank you so much for joining me here, editing through my favorite images of the year with Capture One. And if you're interested, get in on that Capture One Black Friday sale, because it is available starting today. We're starting somewhere around today, but it is available currently for you. Sign up for. Head on over there. See you again next time.